Hello everyone, welcome to the Scumdog's Kennel. I'm your host, Chris Williams, and in today's episode, I have a couple of articles dealing with ghosts. One, the United Kingdom castle, Windsor, and basically how it has so many spirits, and another article detailing various stories of people encountering very pushy ghosts who shove them around, and, well, that sounds incredibly intriguing, folks. So let's get into this first article, The Many Ghosts of Windsor Castle, and learn all about it and have some fun. Now that the late Prince Philip has received his personally sanctioned, socially distanced send-off, the next question in, will he return to visit members of the current and future royal families when they stay at Windsor Castle, perhaps the most haunted of the British royal residencies? If the past is any indication, there's a good chance the prince, with a wicked sense of humor when he was alive, may join in the fun of scaring and pranking his family from the great beyond, including the Queen, who has seen plenty of ghosts while there. Now, here's a description of one of the ghosts that plenty of people have seen, folks. She's often seen in the library, and her footsteps can be heard on the bare floorboards before her striking presence appears. So, from that description, folks, it's easy to see that this is a female ghost that various people have witnessed at Windsor Castle, but it's only one of several ghosts that people have witnessed and seen there, folks. So, let's get into more of the article and see how, well, and when these specters appear before people. Apparently, the ghost that was basically just described to us, that would be Elizabeth I, who both Elizabeth II and her late sister Margaret reported seeing at Windsor Castle. That's a long time to hang out there. Elizabeth I died in 1603, but she was said to enjoy staying there as much as the current queen does. Perhaps she herself encountered the ghost of her father, Henry VIII, who is said to haunt the deanery cloisters, the lodgings of the deans or wardens of St. George's Chapel, where Philip's funeral was held, where he is often heard groaning and dragging his feet as he looks for someone to behead or marry, or both. The deanery is also said to be haunted by a young boy who has been heard running and shouting, "I don't want to go riding today. What royal doesn't want to go riding?" I guess that's true, folks, because the idea of a royal riding a horse, it's often pictured by most people when they think about royalty, don't they, folks? I guess. But who was this young boy, folks? It could basically be anybody. Maybe he was a young prince who died sometime maybe hundreds of years ago, or maybe he's just someone who visited the castle, and after he died, he returned as a ghost, basically to haunt it as well. Perhaps. But either way, let's continue. He is seen peering from the window in the room where he was often detained. That was another little description of a spirit at Windsor Castle, folks. I think the article will detail who that is a bit more. That would be George III, whose reign ended in Windsor Castle, where he died in 1820 after spending much of his later years there with a variety of maladies, including blindness, rheumatism, mental illness, and eventual insanity. Charles I is said to haunt A. Cannon's house on the property, while Charles Stuart, better known as the Young Pretender, and Bonnie Prince Charlie, was held there as a prisoner and buried there after being beheaded. As his coffin was entering St. George's Chapel, the beautiful weather was suddenly interrupted by a terrible blizzard. The prison room in the Norman Tower is haunted by a former royalist prisoner from Civil War times. A castle with 1,000 rooms needs a huge staff, so it's not surprising that many of the ghosts are suspected to be former employees. The kitchen is said to be haunted by a man leading a horse through the wall to the stables. Footsteps are heard in the belfry of the Curfew Tower, and the bells were once heard ringing without a bell ringer, at least a live one. The long walk, a double-lined avenue of trees, runs for 2.65 miles up to the castle, is said to be haunted by the ghost of a young Grenadier guard who shot himself while on duty there in the 1920s, but the most famous employee ghost at Windsor Castle is Herne, the hunter, who haunts the Great Park, Windsor's 5,000-acre woodlands. Herne was wounded while saving King Richard II from being mauled to death by a cornered stag and was said to have been healed by witchcraft. He was later framed for theft by jealous other hunters and hanged himself on Herne's Oak. His ghost has since been seen many times in the Great Park. There are more, but the real question is, will Prince Philip come back for a visit? It's doubtful. He would come to scare his loving wife of 73 years, even just to say he's doing fine. But it would be appropriate for the prince to spook his troublesome son, Andrew, or grandson, Harry. If he does, you can be sure it will be covered on the tours in a future session of The Crown. Now, folks, Prince Philip probably died a while ago. I know that because the Queen died a few years ago. So this article, well, a little older, still has relevant information today, folks. Undoubtedly, ghosts still haunt Windsor Castle right now. Either way, let's continue to the next article. Ghosts may be becoming more pushy, folks. Indeed, folks, I have a variety of short stories detailing troublesome and pushy violent ghosts, folks. Indeed, we must ask, are ghosts becoming more, well, violent and pushy? Let's read on and find out, because it's very interesting, folks. Ghosts already have a scary appearance. Frigid breath, loud noises, and levitation, it's in the bag of tricks. Do they really need to knock people over to get their attention? That may be the case, as the number of videos of persons appearing to be knocked over by seen or unseen spirits is on the rise. Now everyone, I'm sadly not going to basically, well, show you these videos. My video would be far too long, but I can give you my opinion of these stories. So let's read on. Charlene Hood of Bridgend, Wales, recently took this video of her 1-year-old daughter, Lexi, playing peekaboo with her father, Gareth. It shows Lexi, who her parents describe as being sturdy on her feet, appear to be knocked over by an invisible force. They heard her say, "Naughty boy," as if she had seen who or what pushed her down. Naughty is too kind. What kind of ghost knocks down little girls? Since this happened, the Hoods report hearing creaking sounds in their house. So that sounds incredibly spooky, folks. I do feel like the ghost that pushed Lexi down was a child like herself, folks, because that's what it feels like to me. Either way, let's move on to the next story. This security footage from late December 2014 shows Cecilia Carrasco appear to be violently pushed over in her lawyer's office in San Diego, Chile. Cecilia reported feeling invisible hands push her down so hard that she had to be taken to the hospital where she was treated for head injuries. She says she now believes in ghosts and is afraid to leave her house. Undoubtedly, I believe her, folks. Can you imagine this actually happening to you? A ghost basically suddenly pushes you down and you have no idea what's going on. Yes, undoubtedly, Cecilia here now believes in ghosts. But let's move on to the next short stories. This anonymous security camera video from 2013 actually captures the shadowy entity which knocks a man down and drags him down the hall before he is able to escape and run away. I've seen this video myself, folks. It's kind of terrifying, but it looks more fake than anything else. A lot of skeptics will argue all these stories of ghosts are fake, folks, but I have my doubts about that. But these stories are still worth our time to look at. Anyway, let's finish off this article and then we can talk about what we basically went through today. Why would ghosts be making such violent physical contacts with people? Some experts suggest the ghost is taking revenge on something that person did or said to them, or because they are spreading a religion or spirituality that offends the ghost. So why would one take revenge on a 1-year-old? It is believed by some that ghosts are more likely to attack persons with a weak body or mind. A 1-year-old is certainly weaker in a pick on somebody your own size sense. Most likely it's because the location is haunted by the ghost and it wants everyone out. Indeed, folks, that's exactly how I agree with this. But there's also the possibility that some ghosts are jealous of, well, the living. Maybe this is why this ghost pushed Lexi down. It could very well be that it was, as I said, the ghost of a child, or indeed, this spirit could have been an adult and just wanted every living person out of its home. Either way, let's finally finish this off. What about the pushiness? If the ghosts are the spirits of the dead, maybe they're just carrying out increasingly violent tendencies into the next life. Could being nicer people stop these pushy ghosts in the future? Whether you believe in ghosts or question if the videos are real or not, that's a good way to live. I do agree with that, folks. It could be that these ghosts were violent in life and in their afterlives, they continue to be violent. Indeed, folks, that could basically be the truth. I've heard basically that if you die a violent death, you basically become a noisy and basically, well, tormented spirit. So maybe this is exactly the truth, but we can't be for sure. All we can do, folks, is guess at the actual, well, reality of this situation. The truth is, we absolutely know nothing about ghosts, and the reality could be quite different if we were to actually be able to speak with them. Anyway, we're at the end, so please go subscribe to my YouTube channel. Read comics, they're bad for you. You can use the YouTube link down below in the descriptions or the chat to go subscribe to my channel. Now, hit that like button for me. Make sure you're still subscribed. Leave some comments down below. Hit that bell for notifications. Make sure to hit the part of the bell that will give you all future notifications. And please share this video out. I'm Chris Williams from the Scumdogs Kennel. Thank you all for joining me. I'll be back again tomorrow with another great video. So be sure to come back again then. Till next time, folks, I'll see you all again soon.